Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Pterodactyl here, and today we're gonna be talking about the time that I accidentally, okay, guys, keyword accidentally, threw a shoe at my bus driver. Yes, I know. How do you accidentally throw a shoe at your bus driver? Listen, things happen, alright? It just happened. So, this was a while back. Well, not that long ago. It was like a year ago. Um, I was, hanging out with my friends, just chilling on the bus, and we had this really old bus driver. Like, this guy was ancient, okay? I don't know exactly how old he was, but he looked like he was in like his 80s, okay? Like this guy was old and like late 80s. And we're just like so he liked it quiet, but other than the fact as long as we kept our voices down, he didn't really care what we did. Um like as long as we weren't loud, he didn't care. So we because of that we got into a lot of hijinks and we got away with it a lot of it. But one time I had this group of friends on the bus that I was pretty tight with, but we only hung out on the bus. And we were messing around one day. Everybody was like in a good mood, really energetic, when you get in one of those moods with two friends. And we're all joking around, messing around and stuff, and we steal my one friend's shoe because just because why not? We take his shoe and we're like throwing it around and stuff, and he's like trying to get it back, trying to get back. I grab his shoe and there's my friend like 3 seats up. I'm trying to toss it to him, and I tossed it like I don't know. I don't think I tossed it that hard, but apparently I tossed it way harder than I needed to because it literally went past him, bounced weird on like the aisle of the bus, and just like from the bounce went flying and landed right on my it hit my bus driver in the side of the head and then landed on his like literally on his foot while he was pressing the gas. And this was very dangerous. I realized that like he was driving, he was going like 40 miles per hour. Imagine being going 40 miles per hour with a bus full of kids and you get hit in the side of the head with a shoe. Like that's pretty distracting, I reckon. But he just kind of was like he pulled over. He's like, "Who did that?" Like blah blah blah, and all my friends knew that I did it, and nobody else saw it except for like a couple of my friends and me. And I'm just sitting there quiet. My friends weren't about to snitch, so we're just quiet. And he's like, "All right, I guess I'm gonna have to view the cameras then." And he views the and so I go to school. I'm going about my normal day, and like 3 days go by. So I am thinking I got away with it. Like, oh, okay, we good. Literally like 3 or 4 days after the incident, I just get called down to the office, and I did a lot of stuff like a year ago that like I could get in trouble for, but it was stuff that I was pretty good with getting away with things. So I got away with a lot of it, but I do like a lot of stuff that I could get in trouble for. So I get called down one day and I'm thinking, all right, it's either this, or this. I had like 5 things I thought it might be. I get called down and and they sit me down and they're like, hey, did you, why'd you throw a shoe at your bus driver? And I'm like, I didn't. And they're like, yeah, you did. We have it on video. And I'm just like, "Oh, you mean on the bus a couple days ago?" Yeah, I that was an accident. And they're just looking at me like, cause I know that's like the stupidest excuse. Like they've probably heard that 1,000 times for 1,000 different reasons. Like, "Oh yeah, it was an accident." Sure it was. But like sure you accidentally threw your shoe across 15 seats on the bus and it just happened to hit the bus driver inside the head. But I'm talking to them, I'm like, and even though, like I said, I did a lot of stuff, this was like only like the second time I had ever been in the office. I'm like, you guys know I'm not a troublemaker. You know I don't get in trouble. Like, why would I just randomly throw my friend's shoe at the bus driver? No, we were just playing a game, like, messing around on the bus, and I accidentally threw it a little too hard and it hit him. And they're like, blah blah blah. And they didn't they didn't give me a detention or anything. I ended up getting off with just them yelling at me pretty much. And also, I had to write an apology to not to the principal, to my bus driver. But he actually retired before I could give it to him. Like, I don't know if me hitting him in the head with a shoe was like the last straw or something, but legit, like 2 days, no, like that day on the bus ride there, the day I got called in the office, I rode with him, and then every other day after that, the ride home, that we had a new bus driver. I never saw that guy again. I don't know if he, like, I don't know. I don't know if he retired or if he got fired or if he quit or I don't know what happened, but he was just gone. I never saw him again. So that's a thing. Um, and also another thing that happened literally that same day. On the ride home, we didn't have a new permanent bus driver yet because he like just left. So we had the lady who's like in charge of the busing was driving us for a couple days, and that day on the way home, uh, I was again it was another day where everybody was in kind of like a real energetic mood, and we were just like hanging out, and me and my one friend decided it would be funny to like I don't know why we thought this was a good idea, but to get on the floors and try and crawl all the way to the back of the bus on the floor without like I don't know. We just thought that would be fun, so we start doing it. And I wasn't even aware that the bus driver was yelling at us. I heard her talking about something, but I didn't know she was talking about us. And she's like, going on and on. And I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I keep going. We and him are like racing at one point. And then next day, again, get called down to the office. And I'm thinking like, oh, here we go. They busted me. Like I'm getting in trouble for something else that we're not gonna get into right now. I'm like, yep, all right, that's it. I'm hacked. But I actually didn't get in trouble for that. But they no, I got down there and they're like, were you crawling on the floors with I'm just gonna name my friend Jonathan for this video. Were you crawling on the floor with Jonathan today? And I'm like, no. And they're like, or yesterday, and I'm like, no, and they're like, really? Because the bus driver said you were, and I'm like, no, I wasn't, because obviously, like, like I knew there were cameras on the bus, but the cameras could only get some angles, so I didn't know if they had me on video, and if they didn't, as long as I didn't admit to anything, they couldn't punish me in any way, because they didn't have proof that it was me. So I was just keeping it up. I'm like, yeah, no, I didn't. And then they're like, really? Because she says she has footage of you guys on the floor, and I'm like, or of you on the floor. She hadn't even mentioned my friend at this point, just me. And I'm just like, oh no, that wasn't me. It was like, what's I read out another kid who's always getting in trouble, who I really didn't like. And you might be like, oh, that's mean. Well, this kid was a terrible person, okay? So he deserved it. But I basically just was like, no, it was that kid. He like crawled past my feet. I remember seeing it. And they're like, blah blah blah, yelling at me. And the friggin' they called my friend down, Jonathan. They called him down, and he gets down there with me. And literally, like, I had them going, like, they were about to believe me. They were just starting to believe me when I kept, like, hammering down, like, no, that didn't happen, that didn't happen. They call my friend down. They ask him, like, were you crawling on the floor? He's like, yep. And then they're like, were you crawling with, this kid? And he's like, yep. And I'm like, what the heck, Jonathan? Like, you really had to rat me out like that? Like, I know you don't care, but, like, my parents are gonna be friggin' mad at me, dude. Like, and, like, my parents aren't, like, super strict or anything, but I mean, like, if I got grades, like, if I ever took a grade home that was, like, below a C, I would be grounded for, like, a month. Like, and, like, if I ever brought, like, if I ever came home with, like, an ISS or something, like, they would make sure I would never do it again, like, tell you that much. So I was like, I was super scared, but and they did give me a detention. Turns out, I got home, I told my mom, like, hey, I got a detention, you gotta sign this. I thought she was gonna friggin' wig out on me. She legit didn't even care, like, she was like, alright, well, don't do it again. And I was like, I'm over here expecting to, like, get hit with a refrigerator, and she's just like, yeah, don't do it again. And I'm like, don't do it again? And she's like, yeah, just don't try not to get in any more trouble. And I'm like, who are you? Like, I was, oh my gosh, I was so scared all day long, just for that. Like, but anyway, guys, yeah, that's the story of my bus hijinks for that day. That was I managed to get called down to the office 2 times in a day to because of bus issues. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.